Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Dr. Abdul Rahim. I am a faculty from Maladi Engineering College for Women. Today we will talk about Internet of Things. Basically, when we speak about Internet of Things, it is a sub-part of embedded systems. When we speak about embedded systems, it is a combination of both hardware as well as software. We say that it is a sub-part, so we require some additional features like Internet. So that's the reason why we call it as Internet of Things. It is a sub-part of embedded systems where it is a combination of both software, which can be any type of the software. It can be high-level language or medium-level language. And when we speak about hardware, it can be dealt with sensors, activators, and microprocessors, microcontrollers, or any other system on chips. When we speak about IoT, it has to be a specific application or applications. When we speak about embedded systems, it is simply used for controlling an application or transferring the data. So that's the reason why we speak about Internet of Things, where along with controlling the applications, transferring the information from one point to another point is also required. So when we speak about Internet, it is a combination of both wired or wireless. Sometimes we use for applications where wire will be flexible, and sometimes we'll be using wireless. Now coming towards things, we speak about sensors. Sensors can be any input devices, which can be voltage control sensors or current control sensors. And we speak about output devices, we call it as an activators. Sometimes we required for applications, we required either input devices or sometimes we required output devices. And there will be some applications where we required input as well as output devices. Let us say about there is a room temperature I want to transfer through internet, then at that time I required only LM35. We call it as only input sensors. Sometimes, for example, I want to control the light, or I say that let us switch on the fan. At that time I'll be using only output devices. So some applications we required only input devices, some applications we required only output devices, but there are some applications where we required both input devices as well as output devices. For example, in this room I want to find out the light intensity and modify accordingly. So for that purpose I required a sensor which provides me the present light intensity, and depending on that intensity I'll decide whether the light intensity has to be increased or decreased. So at that time I required both input devices as well as output devices. So we speak about sensors, we call it as things, and to this we'll be connecting our controllers or processors, and we speak about the devices as called as things. So now these things which we speak about are nothing but our sensors as well as activators. And then we'll be using internet. Internet can be of wired communication or wireless communication. It depends on the controller which we are using. Sometimes we use a controller where LAN or Ethernet is connected. For example, Raspberry Pi. When you speak about Raspberry Pi, we use IEEE 802.3 standard, and we use Ethernet to connect and transfer the information. So at that time we say that it is a wired communication. There is one more wired communication, we call it as RS-232, recommended standard. So that also transfer the information through wired. And when we speak about wireless, it can be Zigbee, it can be Bluetooth, it can be Wi-Fi. It all depends on which type of controllers we are using. For example, we use Arduino. Arduino can transfer serially, but we use an ESP32, an external Bluetooth connectivity or Wi-Fi module, such a way that the data can be transferred. Now for example, we say Node MCU. Node MCU has inbuilt Wi-Fi standard, so that means that we don't require any wired communication. Instead of that, we can use wireless communication. So selecting of a microcontroller or the controllers are very much important. And when you are selecting a controller, we'll be selecting what type of sensors, what type of activators, and what type of communication is required. That whole entirely we call it as Internet of Things. Now when we speak about where we are presently with IoT, it all started with connecting wired between one system to another system. This diagram shows you that at present in 2024 we are able to communicate using IoT as an example. We will be able to connect with vehicles, we can able to connect to any appliances with IoT. It can be RFID, or it can be Bluetooth, or it can be Wi-Fi. We are having smartwatches which are connected with Bluetooth. There are some refrigerators, there are some washing machines, there are air conditions where we'll be connecting with Wi-Fi modules also. So at present the IoT stands where we can connect things with our internet. The things can be our own regular appliances which are available and we can use for house applications. Now for example, let us talk about the ecosystem of our module. We speak about Internet of Things to transfer the information. When you're transferring the information, at the same time we'll be able to send that information onto the cloud. Now when we speak about the cloud, it can be free cloud or it can be paid cloud. This cloud can be useful to transfer the information, and whenever we require, we can access the information. So for that purpose, we will have a cloud. Now the user can transfer the information using Node MCU or any other microcontrollers, and after that the data can be stored in the cloud, and such that the cloud from that information can be collected from the end user or any other controlling device. Now when we speak about the ecosystem, and when we speak about the ecosystem, we have Google, we have Amazon, we have Microsoft. These are the various companies which can be providing the cloud. That can be free version or that can be subscription version. Now when we speak about the Internet of Things, just as an example, let us say suppose there is an electronic measuring instrument which can be used for turbines. The turbines basically used to generate the electricity. At that time we'll be able to control the turbines, the movement of the turbines, and transfer that information to the cloud. So this can be one of the application compared to multiple applications that can be used in embedded systems, but we have to specifically use internet such a way that that comes under Internet of Things. Now when we speak about the various types of IoTs, we have something called as communication unit, we have the controller unit, we have the processing unit, we have the transferring unit, we have security system involved in it. So all this coming together, we speak about the Internet of Things. So that is what we are talking today about, the technology, where we can speak about the nanotechnology that can be used to design our sensors, to design our controllers, and we will be having either Ethernet, which can be used for wired communication, or we'll be using Wi-Fi like Bluetooth or Zigbee, such a way that we can call it as a wireless communication. So we use all these standards and have our own security systems which can be used to save our data. So that is what we speak about the Internet of Things. So today we have discussed about the basics of Internet of Things, what it consists of, how it differs from basic embedded systems, and which type of internet we'll use, whether we use wired communication or wireless communication. Then we discussed about various types of controllers that can be used with respect to the Internet of Things. So thank you everyone. డాన్స్ కూడా వెళ్తుందా? తీసేస్తారు తీసేస్తారు ఈ స్టెప్ తర్వాత ఇచ్చేసి